Hello everyone. Today I want to explain two important policies used by the government in order to stabilize the economy. As we said before, any economy passes through ups and downs. عادي جدا. You will never find an economy that moves smoothly like that. It must pass through ups and downs, ups and downs. ساعات كده الدنيا تبقى كويسة وتمام, and we call this a boom phase, where there is high economic growth, very low unemployment, and everything is just perfect in the economy. Or it can experience a recession or a slump phase where economic growth will be very low, GDP is low, gross domestic product, and total production produced by the country is very low, very high unemployment rate, and sometimes deflation might take place or falling prices. طيب, if the economy is experiencing a recession, what can the government do? The government in this case can use a policy called the Fiscal Policy. The Fiscal Policy. تمام? طيب, there are other policies that can be used by the government, but today I only want to explain the fiscal and the monetary policy, which are also called the demand side policies. طيب, في الفiscal policy دي, the government بتعمل إيه? The government uses two important tools: direct taxes and government spending. طيب, direct taxes. إزاي بالtaxes the government can improve the economic conditions? Government, in this case, will lower the direct taxes. So when it lowers the direct taxes, زي مثلا income tax, لو أنت مثلا you are a worker, you receive income, but you must pay a tax for it. If the government lowers this tax, this means that you will be receiving higher disposable income, more income to spend. So this means that you can spend this income on more goods and services. Okay? طيب, as you buy more goods and services, you and other people, businesses will make profit, businesses can expand and invest more. As they expand, they will create job opportunities, unemployment will fall, and gross domestic product will rise. تمام؟ طيب, في كمان عندنا corporate taxes, which are taxes paid by businesses on their profit. أنا كbusiness owner, when I find that I'm going to pay lower taxes on the profit I make, مش أنا كده هبقى مبسوط؟ I will have more profit that can be retained or reinvested into the business to expand it. So I will be more encouraged to invest, to expand my business, maybe start new businesses, and hire more workers, so unemployment will fall. So direct taxes will be lowered in order to increase the aggregate demand in the economy, or total demand in the economy. طيب, الحاجة التانية, we said the government will also focus on government spending. So we have direct taxes and government spending. طيب, how can government spending improve economic conditions? تعرفوا إن the government is the biggest consumer in any economy? ليه? When the government spends its money, it spends money on like mega projects. For example, if it decides to build a big public hospital, the government will need to buy supplies, raw materials, machines to build the hospital. صح? يبقى كده it will buy the supplies it needs from other businesses, like equipment, machinery, whatever. It will buy it from other businesses. صح? يبقى كده other businesses will make profit. They can expand, hire workers, and unemployment will fall. حاجة كمان, when the government builds this mega project, it will have to hire like thousands of workers. So again, it will contribute to the reduction of unemployment in the country. صح? طيب, يبقى احنا عندنا كده direct taxes. If the government lowers direct taxes, people will have more money to spend, businesses will have more money to spend, aggregate demand will rise, businesses will expand, unemployment will fall, and gross domestic product will start to increase. في نفس الوقت, the government can also spend more on public services. Government بقى تصرف على public services, تصرف على حاجة كمان اسمها transfer payments. Like for example, paying higher pensions to retired people, فبالتالي they will have more money to spend, ويصرفوا على goods and services. It can pay higher unemployment allowances to those who don't work. It can pay more subsidies to businesses, lower the cost of production, and help businesses produce more and increase their supply. فبالتالي direct taxes and government spending, once the government lowers them, if it decides to implement an expansionary fiscal policy, يبقى this will lead to economic growth and lower unemployment. طيب دلوقتي the economy has gone up and it reached the boom phase. البوم ده بقى حاجة جميلة جدا. high economic growth و low unemployment والدنيا جميلة وحلوة وتمام. طيب ايه المشكلة هنا؟ المشكلة إنه aggregate demand may rise really fast to the extent that it can lead to higher prices, and this is what we call demand pull inflation. الناس عمالة بتشتري فالأسعار طبيعي when people buy more goods and services prices will go up. صح؟ انتوا أخدتوا في demand and supply in unit 2 in economics. عرفنا إنه as demand or aggregate demand rises prices go up. So inflation will take place. طب إحنا الانفلation ده is not something good. إحنا we need to control this inflation. طب what can the government do in this case? In this case, the government will implement something called the contractionary fiscal policy, which is totally the opposite. Contractionary fiscal policy, contraction. تيجي بقى عند الدايركت taxes، مش انتوا بقى عمالين تصرفوا طيب احنا ده بقى مش هخليكم تصرفوا. It raises direct taxes so that you and other employees will have less disposable income to spend and your spending will fall, so aggregate demand will go down and prices will start to fall again. Businesses will have to pay higher taxes, so they will not be encouraged to invest money. So they will not invest, they will not buy supplies, raw materials والطلبات اللي بيحتاجوا يشتروها. So again, aggregate demand will fall. At the same time, the government will lower its spending. مش هتصرف كتير بقى. هتقلل شوية بقى البروجكتس اللي بتعملها. It will pay lower allowances to people. هتقولي طب يا مس كده the government is negatively affecting the economy. Yes, that's right. But for the sake of controlling inflation, it must do this for a while. الجوفرمنت تقول لك أنا أوقع البلد واحدة واحدة كده وبعدين I can push it up again أحسن ما تقع بيا كده ومعرفش أظبط الدنيا. Okay? طيب. So the problem with an expansionary fiscal policy, economic growth will take place, unemployment will fall والكلام ده كله. But the problem here is demand pull inflation that will take place. في كمان مشكلة ممكن تحصل. طيب the government lower taxes والكلام ده كله so that we can have more money to spend on local production. Local. طب افرض ان احنا عملنا مقلب او ادينا الجوفرمنت مقلب and we bought imported goods instead. يبقى احنا كده البلد ما استفادتش حاجة. So in this case the government will have to raise tariffs الجمارك. So you will have more money, okay, بس أنا بقى I will raise tariffs to prevent you from buying imported goods. Okay, طيب you reach a boom, البوم قلنا جميل, but you might be يحصل overheating للإيكونومي, we call it overheating, when aggregate demand rises really fast. So in this case, prices will rise, demand pull inflation might take place, and you know the negative consequences of inflation, مش محتاجين نقعد نشرحها دلوقتي عشان الوقت. Okay, so in this case, the government will have to implement a contractionary fiscal policy to lower aggregate demand a little bit and lower prices, again to control demand pull inflation that might take place. This is the fiscal policy, contractionary and expansionary fiscal policy. Now I'm going to explain the monetary policy, which is another demand side policy used by the government to control inflation. بالنسبة للmonetary policy, the government here focuses on increasing or decreasing money supply in the economy. طيب إزاي؟ There are different methods, but the main method you have is interest rates. ماله interest rate ومال economic conditions ماله ده؟ Interest rates offered by banks. on savings and borrowings. ازاي الكلام ده؟ تعال نشوف. If the economy is experiencing a recession, low economic growth, high unemployment والمشاكل دي كلها, the central bank will make all banks charge people low interest rates on their borrowings. And at the same time, the bank will give low interest rates on savings of people. So, if you want to buy something, you don't have money, you go to the bank to take a loan, you will find that the bank can offer you the loan at a very low interest. You will be very happy. صح? You will take the loan and you will go buy what you want. Like for example, you want to buy a car, تروح تاخد اللون, ما هو interest is low here. فده حلو قوي لأنه now this means that the cost of borrowing will be low. The cost of borrowing will be low. فبالتالي you will take the loan, you will go buy what you want, you will go buy the car. طيب أنت لما تشتري العربية and other people buy what they want by taking loans from banks. مش ده حاجة كويسة؟ This means that businesses are going to sell more, businesses will make higher profit, they can expand, invest more on goods and invest more to expand, create job opportunities and lower unemployment. طيب, at the same time, let's look at businessmen. If you are a businessman and you want to expand your business or you want to start a new business, isn't it going to be easier for you to take a loan now? The cost of borrowing is now lower, so you can go to the bank, take a loan, invest it, and expand your business, create job opportunities, produce more goods and services, and GDP will rise. Maybe you can export كمان. تمام؟ This is called the expansionary monetary policy. في حاجات تانية برضو هتحصل لما الانترست بيقع, بس دي بنتكلم عليها بقى في chapter 8 اللي هو international trade. There are other ways that the government can use to increase money supply in the economy, but I'm not going to discuss them now. I'll only explain the main thing, which is the interest rate. طيب. The economy improved, الناس بتشتري, businesses are making profit, businesses are expanding, economic growth is rising, unemployment is falling, كل دي حاجات جميلة جدا. However, if we move to a boom phase, again, ممكن يحصل ال overheating. If overheating happens, demand pull inflation will take place. طب نعمل ايه ساعتها؟ The government in this case will have to do the opposite. Contractionary monetary policy. Central bank يبلغ. All banks will have to raise the interest on borrowings and savings. بالمناسبة في حاجة كمان نسيت أقولها على savers. أنا اتكلمت على borrowers بس. savers لما يجي واحد you go, for example, مثلا you're a wealthy person. You went to the bank to save your money. بصيت لقيت الانترست قليل قوي. Will you be encouraged to save it? هتقول لا, ايه ده؟ ايه الفايدة التعبانة اللي أنا هاخدها دي؟ So you will prefer to spend your money instead. Okay? طيب. Now in a contractionary monetary policy, the opposite will happen. Interest rate will rise. البارور الغلبان اللي كان نفسه يجيب العربية, he will go to the bank to take a loan, but he will find that the cost of borrowing is really high. So he will not take the loan, he will not buy the car he wants. All other people who don't have money will not be able to take loans and buy what they want as well. تمام؟ في نفس الوقت, the wealthy person who wants to save his money in the bank, هيروح البنك, he will find that the rate, he will be getting a really high rate on the savings he keeps in the bank. So he will be very happy, he will be encouraged to save his money instead of spending it. يبقى كده government, it made the borrower or the poor person, مش poor قوي يعني, but this person who wanted to buy the car unable to buy it, and at the same time the wealthy person is encouraged to save his money instead of spending it in the market. The businessman who wanted to expand his business, يروح بقى البنك to take a loan to expand the business, he will find that the cost of borrowing is really high. هيقول لك خلاص مفيش داعي ولا expansion ولا business جديد ولا أي حاجة, أنا هستنى. Okay? So the government discouraged everyone from spending money. Okay, this is because the interest rate will be higher now. تمام كده. Money supply will be lower. Okay, and this is known as the contractionary monetary policy. The contractionary monetary policy. Okay, تمام كده. So it's based on controlling money supply. So we explained two policies: the fiscal policy, which uses direct taxes and government spending. ويا ريت ما نتلخبطش في المالتيبل تشويس عشان بشوف students كتيرة بتتلخبط. Fiscal policy, direct taxes and government spending. Monetary policy, interest rates. أو بمعنى أصح يعني controlling money supply using different methods, mainly الانترست ريت اللي أنا شرحتها دلوقتي. أوكي؟ طيب أتمنى الكلاس ده يكون سهل عليكم الفيسكال والمونيتري بوليسي. في طبعا بوليسي تالتة عليكم في السيلبس اسمها supply side policy، بس دي بقى عايزة برضو حصة لوحدها. أوكي؟ عرفنا إنه the expansionary fiscal and monetary policy are really good. They're fast. They can lead to economic growth faster than a supply side policy اللي أنا ما شرحتهاش. But they have drawbacks. إيه هي ال drawbacks؟ إن people may switch to imported goods instead of buying locally produced goods. وتاني حاجة إنه they might lead to overheating of the economy, which will eventually lead to demand pull inflation. And that's why the government in this case will have to use the contractionary fiscal and monetary policies اللي للأسف it harms the economy because it lowers economic growth and raises unemployment. But the government must use them for the sake of controlling inflation. أتمنى الفيديو ده كان مفيد وساعدكم. أوكي، وإن شاء الله نتقابل في فيديوهات جاية. باي باي.